Okay, this is 11.3, volume of pyramids and cones. I want you to try warm-up problems 1 and 3. Skip number 2 and hit play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, so we have, for number 1, 3,969 feet cubed. Remember that it's cubed because it was feet squared times feet, so that would be feet to the third power. Volume is always going to be cubed. And then same thing with number 3, V equals 4,423.4 inches cubed. So pyramids, the formula is 1/3 capital BH. If you stack 3 of these together, it would create a prism. So this is going to be all the pyramids, everything that comes to a point is going to be 1/3 of capital BH. So most people forget that 1/3. Just make sure you're looking at the figure, and if it's a pyramid, you put in the 1/3. So 1/3 area of the base. So I'm looking at that base. It's a rectangle, and it has a length and width of 18. So that would be L times W. It's going to be 11 times 18 times the overall height. So that's 1/3 times 11 times 18 times a height of 23. Which is 1,518 meters cubed. Okay, a square pyramid with base edge length 9 centimeters. So they're all 9 basically. And a height of 14 centimeters. So again, V equals 1/3 because it's a pyramid, capital B, H. V equals 1/3 area of the base. It's a square, so it's length times width times the height. So V equals 1/3 times 9 times 9 times the height, which is 14. And so our answer is 27 times 14, 378 centimeters cubed. You cannot do example C. So for the real world application, an art gallery is a 6-story pyramid with a base area of half an acre. It tells you that 1 acre is equal to 4,480 yards squared, and 1 story equals 10 feet. Estimate the volume in cubic yards and cubic feet. Let's first look at the base area. The base area is 1/2 of an acre. But to convert that, what we know about acres is that 1 acre is equal to 4,480 yards squared. To cancel out the acres, I know that they need to be diagonal from each other. So I'm putting the acres in the denominator and 4,840 yards squared in the numerator. So that was just the rule. This piece right here is the rule between yards squared and acres. And so when I multiply that, I end up with 2,420 yards squared. Now let's look at the stories. That's the height, is the 6-story building. So we have 6 stories. I guess I should write stories. Multiplied by my rule. Well, 10 feet in 1 story. I know that I need the story to be on the bottom so that they cancel. And then if I want to change, convert the feet in yards, then I need the rule about feet and yards, and that is that there's 3 feet in 1 yard, and I need the feet to be on the bottom so that it cancels with the feet up top in the prior rule. So 3 feet in 1 yard. And so if we multiply this, we end up with 60 over 3, which is 20 yards. So that's the height, 20 yards. Now we can go ahead and calculate the volume. Well, the volume is equal to 1/3 capital B H, which is 1/3 times the base was 2,420 yards squared times 20 yards for the height, which is 16,133 yards cubed. Okay, now in terms of feet. If we start with the base, it was 2,420 yards squared, but I need that to be feet, so I'm going to multiply by a rule between yards and feet. There are 3 feet in 1 yard, and I put, so that only canceled 1 yard out of this yard squared, so I have to do that again, 3 feet over 1 yard. So now the yards squareds cancel, and I end up with 21,780 feet squared, because feet times feet up top was feet squared. Okay, now for the height, we would do 6 stories times 10 feet in 1 story, so that the stories cancel, and then we stop there because it's in feet, and so that would be 60 feet. And now we can find the volume in terms of feet. So we have 1/3, capital BH.
Jacob Stein, please report to the front office. Jacob Stein.
Which is 1/3 times the area of the base. We said was 21,780 feet squared times the height, which was 60 feet, for a final answer of 435,600 feet cubed. Okay, volume of the cone is really the same thing. So it's 1/3 capital B H again. They're saying up above that the formula is 1/3 pi r squared H, and that's just because the area of the base would be the circle. So the circle is the pi r squared. But it's really the same formula, just 1/3 capital B H. So in this example, a cone with a radius of 7, so that's going to be pi times 7 squared, which is 49, times the height of 15, for an answer of, in terms of pi, that would get us 245 pi centimeters cubed. And in terms of rounding and calculating pi, that would be 769.7 centimeters cubed. Okay, and for the next one, a cone with a base circumference of 25 pi inches. So if the circumference was 25 pi, which means 2 times pi times r, I'm going to write that 25 pi equals 2 times pi times r. If you divide both sides by 2 pi to cancel r, you want r by itself so we can figure out what the radius was, then you would end up with 12.5 pi as the, not pi, the pi is canceled as well. 12.5 is the radius. And the height says that it's 2 inches more than twice the radius. 2 inches more than twice the radius plus the 2 inches. So the height is equal to 25 plus 2, which is 27. Now that we know that, we can plug into the formula. V equals 1/3 capital B H, so V equals 1/3 times pi times the radius, which is 12.5 squared, times the height, which is 27. And so V equals, in terms of pi, that would be 1,406.3 pi inches cubed. And rounded, it would be, multiplied by pi, it would be 4,417.9 inches cubed. Okay, describing the effect on volume, it was divided by 3, so I'm going to write that as 1/3, and then anything that's going to have an effect on the volume would have to be to the 3rd power. So it's 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3, which is going to be 1/27 of the volume. Okay, here we have a height of 40 on this bottom cone. That's 40. And this whole piece is 70, but we've used 35 from the cylinder. It says that right there, 35. So that means that I have 35 left. Okay, so let's start with the 2 cones first. So 1/3 times area of the base, which is pi r squared, times the height. So 1/3 times pi r squared, pi times radius squared, which is 21 squared, times the height. Oh, one height is 35, but the other, so that's cone 1, volume of cone 2, that's going to be 1/3 times pi times radius squared times a height of 40 for that one. So I'll calculate those, and then the cylinder is going to be area of the base times the height. It doesn't come to a point, so it's not 1/3. So area of the base would be the pi r squared times the height, which is pi times 21 squared times the height, which is 35. And so the volume of the first cone that I found with 35 is going to be 5,145 pi centimeters cubed, so I'm leaving it in terms of pi. The volume of the second cone is 5,880 pi centimeters cubed, and the volume of the cylinder is 15,435 pi centimeters cubed. And so we can add all three to get the total volume, which is going to get us 26,460 pi centimeters cubed, or if you put that not in terms of pi, if you rounded that, that would be 83,126.5 centimeters cubed.